All right, so let's start with number 19. It says the area of a rectangle in square feet is represented by the expression 2x squared plus 5x plus 2. If the length is 2x plus 1, what is the width of this rectangle? Okay, so what we have to remember is the area for a rectangle, the formula is just length times width, right? So if I know what the area is, it is 2x squared plus 5x plus 2. And then we're trying to figure out what the length and the width are. Well, I know what the length is. It is 2x plus 1, correct? So we're just trying to figure out what do we have to multiply to come up with this as my answer. So technically, all we have to do is factor. And we have a trinomial with a lead, so I'm going to turn it into 4 terms. So I've got my first term and my last term, and remember we're going to multiply those two numbers together to fill in our chart. So I have 1 times 4 and 2 times 2. Sorry, I'm going to add and subtract, and then add and subtract, and I'm looking for my middle term of 5. So I found it right here. I'm going to use 1 and 4. And my signs are going to be the same. So if I have 1x and 4x and my signs are both whatever this is. Okay, so now I can group and factor out GCF. So common here is an x. That will leave me 2x plus 1. Common here is a 2. That will leave me 2x plus 1. So I have x plus 2 and 2x plus 1. So let's look. Remember, they already gave me 2x plus 1. So this one they've already given me. So that means this one must be the width. So it's x plus 2. Okay, let's try number 20. It says the area of a rectangle in square feet can be represented by 3x squared plus x minus 4. If the width is x minus 1, what is the length? Okay, so we're basically doing the same thing, right? So I'm going to start with this 3x squared plus x minus 4. So remember, I'm going to write the first term, I'm going to write the last term, then I'm going to multiply those two numbers together, and then that is what I'm going to factor. So I have 1 times 12, 2 times 6, 3 times 4, add and subtract each pair of factors. So we're going to add and subtract, add and subtract. And I am looking for the coefficient of 1, so I found it here. That means we're using this. That means signs are going to be different. So when I put in 3x and 4x, this sign right here goes to the larger, so the 4 gets to be positive and the 3 will be a negative. And then I am going to group. So I'll group the first two, and I'll group the second two. So common here, I can factor out as a 3 and an x. So 3x times x will give me 3x squared, minus 3x times 1 will give me that 3x. Common here, I can factor out is a 4. So 4 times x will give me 4x, and 4 times a negative 1 will give me negative 4. So what I factored out is the 3x plus 4. What is repeating is the x minus 1. Now remember, look, they already gave me this one right here. So that means I don't need this one. This is the one that I'm looking for. Okay? So 21 says the length of a rectangular top of tabletop is x minus 5, and its area is x squared minus 11x plus 30. What is the width of the tabletop? So we have this is the area, and this is my length. I'm just trying to find the other one, correct? So look, we have a trinomial with no lead, so we can immediately do this and this. And I have my x and my x. But look what they've already given me, you guys. So really, do I need to make the chart and everything, or can I just figure this out? If I have a 5 here, and I know I need to multiply it with this term to come up with a 30, then what needs to go right here? Exactly. It just needs to be a 6. Then we need to worry about our signs, though, because, oh, well, this needs to be a positive 30. This is a negative 5. So what does this need to be to make a positive for my answer? So I have to have a negative times a negative, right? So we're looking for this one right here. So x minus 5. No, they already gave that to me. Minus 3, x minus 6. Here we go. And there's your answer. Okay, 22 just says simplify the expression. So we are just combining like terms. So we have some parentheses. If the parentheses has a plus in front, then the parentheses doesn't mean anything. So really I have 6x squared, and then plus a 4x, and minus a 10x squared. And then I have this plus 14. But then I have this minus sign right in front of this parentheses, so when I distribute, that means all my signs change to the opposite. So right now this is a positive 2x, so now it's going to be a negative 2x. Right now this is a positive 9, so it's going to be a negative 9. Okay, so let's see if we can't figure out what our like terms are. So remember, like term has to be same variable and same exponent. So we have 6x squared, and I have another x squared term here. And that's all. So what is 6 minus 10? It's going to leave me a negative 4, right? So this is going to give me a negative 4x squared. And I'm done with that. Okay. Let's move on. The next one would be an x, because remember you put it in descending order, largest exponent first. So I have a 4x, and if I keep going, I have a negative 2x. So what is 4 minus 2? Well, that's just a 2. So that means we have a positive 2x. Keep going, and the only thing left would be a number here. So we have a positive 14 and a minus 9. So what's 14 minus 9? And that's going to leave us a positive 5. So here's my final answer for number 22. Number 23, again, says simplify the expression. So we're not combining like terms, but it is just a multiplication problem. So remember, we multiply the coefficients. I'm going to write that to make sure that we all recall. Multiply the coefficients. And then we add the exponents of the same base. So my coefficients would be 5 and a negative 4, which will give me a negative 20. My x right here, and I have an x, Okay, I have an x right here, and I have an x right here. So this is an x with an understood 1, and this is x to the 5th power, so 5 plus 1 is 6. And then I have a y to the 1st, and then a y to the 0. Well, 1 plus 0 is just 1, so I'm just going to end up with y to the 1st power, or just y. I don't even need the 1 on there. There's your final answer. Okay, 24, which expression is equivalent to 8x squared minus the quantity 3x plus 2x squared minus 10? So again, because we have a negative in front of a parentheses, I need to distribute that negative. So instead of positive 3x, I have a negative 3x. Instead of a positive 2x squared, I have a negative 2x squared, and then my minus 10. Okay. So combine like terms, I have 8x squared minus 2x squared, which is 6x squared, I just realized. And then I have a negative 3x, and that's it, so a negative 3x. And then I have my minus 10. Okay, so obviously I have a typo somewhere, don't I? So I bet it was supposed to be C. I bet these were supposed to be 6s. So let's just say that. And then we'll say C was the correct answer. Okay, sorry about that, you guys. Okay, number 25 says write the equation for the line that contains the points negative 3, negative 31, 0, negative 4, and then 5, 41. Okay, anytime they want us to write an equation and they've given us points from the graph line, just take it straight to your calculator and move this over. Okay, so we'll press menu, and we're going to go to number 4, add a list or a spreadsheet. Remember, and we're going to type in an X for the A column and a Y for the B column. And then we'll type in our X values from those points they gave us. So we have a -3, and then a 0, and then a 5. And then our Y values from the same points would be a -31, and a -4, and then a 41. Okay, and then from there we're going to go to menu, and then statistics, so 4, stat calculations, and then we want linear regression where it's mx plus b, so that's number 3. And then X for the X list and Y for the Y list, and then hit enter. So it looks like my slope is 9 and my y-intercept is -4. So that means we should have an equation that is y equals 9x minus 4. Okay. Number 26 says to convert the standard form equation 8x minus 3y equals -12 into slope-intercept. Slope-intercept just means this, basically, that my y is by itself. So let's get rid of my 8x first by moving it over to the other side. It's gone. We have a -3y equals a -8x minus 12. Then we divide everything by -3. And so a negative divided by a negative is a positive. And 8 cannot be reduced by 3, so I'll leave it as 8 over 3. A -12 divided by a -3 is a positive 4. So there's my answer for number 26. Okay, number 27, it says to write the equation for the line that goes through the point 813 and is parallel to the line represented by the equation 9x minus 4y equals -16. Okay, parallel means that we have the same slope, but the equation they gave me is not in slope-intercept form, so I need to get the y by itself, just like we did in the last problem. So I'm moving my x value, or my x term, sorry, over to the other side. And now I'm going to divide everything by -4. So a negative divided by a negative is a positive. But 9 won't reduce by 4, so that stays. And -16 divided by -4 is a positive 4. So my slope is 9 over 4. I need my slope to still be 9 over 4 if they're going to be parallel lines. And then I have this point. So I'm going to put it into point slope form. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So remember, the first y stays the same minus the y in the point, which is 13, equals my slope, which is 9 over 4, times x minus the x value in my point, which is 8. And then I just have to simplify, so I'm going to distribute. So I will have y minus 13 equals 9 over 4x minus, well, 8 divided by 4 is 2, and then 9 times 2 is 18. And then I will add 13 to both sides. On here leaves my y, 9 over 4x, and then -18 plus 13 would be a -5. So here's my equation that would be parallel to this one right here. Okay, good luck on your test.